Thank you. This is the 27th birthday bash. I think it's the 23rd that I've been to, but I never got that before. That was very nice. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. The birthday bash has been part of the Corvette culture for so long as I can remember it, basically. Once the museum started, people started coming down, started talking to customers. It grew into this annual event, and it's become kind of ingrained. We have so many people. You can see how many people we out here from both Michigan and from Kentucky, just loving to see everybody come in. We love to showcase the new stuff, and just love talking to customers. It's just great. And the welcome I've gotten here personally has been just awesome. So I have to thank you guys for coming. And to top it off with the Hall of Fame induction, it's been a miraculous week. It's basically a week ago I announced that I was retiring, and the outpouring of love and affection and appreciation has been just amazing. If I'd known it had been such a big deal, I wouldn't have done it. It's too late. I already signed the papers. Anyway, we've been doing this so long. We do this presentation from the program team. I have Josh and Harlan with me. And you guys could probably do the presentations, I think, by now, because they follow pretty much the same format. But we're going to go through it anyway. And we'll try to leave some time for Q&A here at the end. So there's nothing I like better than going through the appreciation that we get from kind of the world at large. We live in a bubble kind of in Michigan, here in Kentucky. And so when we can finally show products that we had worked on 4 years ago, show products that we worked on 4 years ago, can finally share them with everybody, then we finally get the feedback. I tell people who want to come to the auto industry, it's not for impatient people. It's not quick gratification. It's delayed gratification. You work on something 4 years, and then you finally get to put it out there. I said it's like earning a bachelor's degree, and you don't get a report card till the very end. You do 4 years of work, and then your report card comes when you show the car. So it's nice that we get on Corvette to do something new almost every year. So almost always have something fun to talk about. And it's been such a ride on the C8 between revealing it and bringing it out and doing this all during the pandemic and strike and everything else that was happening. It's been a work, but it's been a labor of love. And the Stingray and the Z06 and the E-Ray have just, very great sharing with you. So hold the ZR1 questions till the end, please. Anyway, is this going to work? We did our usual level of preparation for this presentation, which means none. Harlan puts it together, and then we spend a few minutes over lunch saying, which slides are you going to cover, which slides are you going to cover? So we'll muddle through this the best we can. So one of the things we love doing the most, you guys know this, we love patting ourselves on the back. You guys come and tell us how much you like the car, but we love it when we have third-party media out there assessing the car. And then things like this, Consumer Reports, they do a survey, they get basically unfiltered information back from customers, and they ask a question, if you had to do it all over again, would you definitely buy or lease the same model? And the car that's #1 in the entire North American market, at least US market, is the Chevy Corvette. 93% would buy it again. And I like to say the other 7%, they're waiting for their Z06 or they're waiting for their E-Ray. It's the only reason they're not going to rebuy the car they have is because of Stingray and they want to buy something that's harder to get. Anyway, you can see these other vehicles up there at 80%, but nobody else is in the 90s. So this is J.D. Power, residual value. It's pretty easy to win a residual value award when you can sell your car for more than you paid for it as a used vehicle. That's pretty rare to have negative depreciation. And that's kind of coming to an end now that we've produced well over 100,000 cars. We're closing in on producing as many C8s as we produced C7s over the entire, so we are cranking them out over 53,000. Harlan will talk about what we did last year, but over 53,000 model year 2023s. So, and we're, believe it or not, right now we're building 300 Z06s a week. So that's a volume above and beyond our aspiration that we could build that many cars, but we're finally taking care of people who've been waiting for their Z06s for so long. Car and Driver, Corvette E-Ray 10 Best. The Car and Driver is a magazine I've been reading since I was 10 years old. So in the 60s, it was amazing for me. I used to read stories by Don Sherman. They used to take manufacturers' cars and just abuse them, just do all sorts of crazy stuff. And I got imprinted on the magazine. I love to read those articles, and I would basically memorize the magazine front to back. And so for me personally, to have Car and Driver still here and appreciating the work that we do, it's just super fun for me. I idolize them, and now they idolize the car we work on. It's great. So people are doing the long-term testing too. This is Edmunds. They get a car and they put a whole bunch of miles on it. And the bottom line is that the car is beloved while they have it, and they hate to see it go, and it performs really well, and it's really reliable. You guys know we won J.D. Power last year. We won our segment. Is it 3 years in a row, I think? Segment winner 3 years in a row, so beating Porsche, you know, their halo vehicle, the 911, and the Boxster Cayman, beating them year in, year out on quality. It's amazing. I don't have to tell you how great the car is. So don't read. They appreciate it for all the same reasons that you guys do. Z06, like I said, we're building 300 a week. All sorts of awards, still winning awards, which is amazing for a car that's been in market like this. They did a vote here at Motor Trend on the most iconic vehicle in 75 years. Fortunately, we've been around for almost all of those 75 years. And so by fan vote, basically, Motor Trend Corvette Car of the Year 3 times, and Performance Vehicle of the Year 2023, and voted the most iconic car against, you know, a lot of these other. I thought for sure the Volkswagen Beetle would win. And a lot of that is, you know, due to you guys being part of the Corvette family, promoting the vehicle. I talked to quite a few people today. They're buying their first Corvette, a C8 is their first Corvette. So we'd love to see new people coming onto the brand and getting to enjoy what other people have known for a really long time. So I like to just pat myself on the back. I like Harlan to talk about the other stuff, including sales and option penetrations and all that stuff. Harlan? You have 3 mics.
Yeah. This one. Yeah, I know everybody likes the new colors, but the facts and figures, that's the exciting part of the presentation. You do the awards, I'll do the but anyway, the Corvette, you know, we continue to dominate what we call the luxury sports car segment. 48%, almost half. So it's basically, in the segment, it's like half the cars are Corvettes and half of them aren't. So thanks to all of you for keeping us #1 on the top. And one of the things, you know, I've been hearing, you know, I've been coming to the museum for a long time, and people always goes, what are you guys going to do about the demographics or anything? When we're going to see some younger people coming in, and you see our mean age is down, and we're actually the segment leader in the group under 35 for sports cars. So the new Corvette mid-engine has really changed the story, and we're going to be starting to see, once they probably don't know, some new the people, they don't know everything, all this fun stuff we do at the museum and all our events, but we're going to start to see more and more in the future for sure. And then just looking at convertibles, the Corvette convertible is the #1 selling convertible in America for all convertibles. So we're selling close to half of the Corvettes are convertible, so that's the highest, since the 1969, and it's the number one convertible in America. And it was mentioned, Tadge mentioned that last year in 23 set a Bowling Green record of over 53,700 Corvettes. It's the highest model year ever produced at Bowling Green. And then I'll just show you what's going on for 24 so far. It's kind of fun to look at. You can kind of see, Stingray, Z06. E-Ray is just getting started. Don't put on the forum, oh, nobody's buying the E-Ray. We just started. So we just started the E-Ray, and obviously that's going to go up as time goes on. And you're starting to see some things like on the Stingrays, the 2LT is the most popular. When you get to the Z06 and the E-Ray, of course, the 3LT. And there's different colors, like on the Stingray now, Arctic White's the most popular, Z06 Black is the most popular, and so far in the E-Ray, the Riptide Blue, which we've shown the car in a lot, the new blue is the most popular as well. And then the black and red interiors are the highest. And then we even have, I won't go into all this, but we even have by each model, we keep track of how all the options are doing. On the Stingray, the black and the carbon flash wheel always do really well. Especially the new 20-spoke black wheels you know about. A lot of people, Z51 does well. Actually, the standard chassis, though, is the most popular. On the Z06, the black wheel is the highest runner on the Z06, and we're starting to get a lot more on the Z07, and I'm going to talk about that for a second, and the carbon fiber options, of course, are doing well. And on the E-Ray, again, just getting started, but so far the polished wheel, the bright polished wheel is doing really well on the E-Ray. Okay, so yeah, I think, is Heidi here? Where's Heidi? There's Heidi. Heidi is our purchasing extraordinaire on the Corvette team, and through her team and a lot of hard work, we're proud to say that a lot of the constraints we had on some of the options, especially on the carbon fiber, have been lifted. So, and it's hard, the thing that's hard, we found, like when you have a constraint, we send that out to the dealers, and you guys read it online, and these things are constrained. People learn that pretty quick. It's hard when you take them off for people to learn, oh, it's really available, because you get kind of scared, and they get kind of the habit, oh, that's going to be hard to get. But now we're happy to say carbon fiber ground effects, the carbon aero package and a high wing on the Z06, our carbon fiber engine appearance package, and even the engine appearance package on the convertibles are all available. And I want to talk a little about racing. How many people were at either the racing event last night or the racing demonstration presentation? So a lot of you will be repetitive, but I just have to talk about some of the great things that happened with Corvette racing, especially last year. Last year was the 100th anniversary of Le Mans, it's only going to happen once, and we had our GTE LM entry. There were 5 Aston Martins, 7 Ferraris, 8 Porsches, and they all finished behind the one Corvette that we had in that race. We only needed one. And then above that, we won, I heard Doug Feehan talk about this, how proud we are, the WEC World Championship. So again, we're racing all around the world, and that's a world championship for Corvette. And we start talking about how many world championships can you win, motorsports. You think about Formula One and things like that. So it's the first world championship, not only for Corvette or for Chevrolet or General Motors. It's the first time we've ever had a motorsports World Championship, and it's for the Corvette. So I know a lot of people are worried, now we're in the new era with the GT3R, Z06 GT3R racing. Whoops, I went too far. Oh, back. And so the good news of this is, remember last year we had one Corvette basically racing in North America and one Corvette racing in the world events. Now we have 6 Corvettes, we started the season with. 2 in the GTD Pro class is the ones to be most familiar with. Then we have the GT Daytona class, and then we have the 2 TF Sporter running in the WEC. And again, it's been a little bit of a slower start this year, but we're working there. Basically, it's an all-new race car, so it's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's really exciting to know that we got 6 Corvettes now racing around the world, and it's a lot of races to come. So, oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. All right, so let's bring Josh up to go through some of the overviews of the 24.
Thank you, Harlan. Okay, how many people in here are on a list waiting for an E-Ray? All right, so this next part of the presentation is going to seem just like I'm rubbing it in. I can tell you, Ray mentioned it earlier. People have asked, is E-Ray build going the way you thought it would? And the answer is yes. It's going the way we thought it would. We cautioned people to be patient with the launch of the E-Ray. We demonstrated that with Z06. You can see how many we're building today. So we will get there with E-Ray. Just is somebody trying to hurry me up? Anyway, here's a video just to warm it up a little.
Defying nature. It's what defines the all-new 2024 Corvette E-Ray, the quickest Corvette ever. With 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. An electrified all-wheel drive that handles all 4 seasons. With a 6.2-liter V8 plus an electric drive motor to power the front wheels for unparalleled traction. A force on the track or off. Beauty finding strength in the extremes. "70 years in the making. The next chapter of Corvette. A supercar of contrasts. It's everything you never expected. One like none."
All right, I have a backstory about that video. So we stand up here and we talk about magazine reviews and accolades we get. That's how we advertise on Corvette. We don't get to do commercials. We've done a couple, but it's very rare that we get any kind of mainstream advertising. So we rely on magazines to do that for us. And when it comes time for reveal materials, we hire a production company, but most of the video production is on us. And so as an example of our budget, which we put into the car itself, where we have to cut costs, we do our own acting work. So the actor you saw in that video was not an actor at all. It's Ken Lampert. He's one of our chassis controls development engineers that did the driving, got out of the car. You might be thinking we shut down the streets to do that cityscape scene at the end. No, we went to Salt Lake City, which I know you're thinking is hopping nightlife. But at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, you can get in there. You don't have to close anything down, and Ken can do the acting for us. So that's how we shot that video. Layout of the architecture, you should know by now that this is the only performance hybrid with this kind of decoupled integration. Cody talked about it this morning, where we've neatly and intentionally packaged very small yet powerful battery in the central tunnel where the drive shaft and exhaust system used to be in a front engine car. Well designed around this battery to recover energy and redeploy it to enhance the performance of the E-Ray. Does anybody know where the charge port is on an E-Ray, where you plug it in? All right. Finally getting there. Tell everybody you know. You don't have to plug it in. we manage all that for you, and for a combined 655 horsepower, with all that traction, you get that blistering 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. And we've been asked mostly by media, but by others, why do an E-Ray, and where does it fit? It is the ultimate grand touring car. We say it can do everything well. And these are some of the competitors that the E-Ray slots into as a performance hybrid. It's the only variant, though, that comes with a V8. We knew you didn't want us to make it a V6, so we could put a motor behind the engine. And it's the only one with all-wheel drive.
Did you miss me? That is a 10-4, which means the E-Ray beat the Italian supercars.
That's pretty awesome. We did not design the E-Ray. No Corvette is really intended to be a drag car. That's not what it's about. It's a sports car. But drag strip work is something many of us can do. It doesn't take a ton of skill other than remember to go when the light turns green. And the E-Ray is the ultimate bracket racing car. It's super consistent, super quick. We did very, very grueling development trips at the drag strip. I know you guys feel sorry for us to have to go to the drag strip. I got to go on one of the trips, and I was talking to the starter, that runs the tree at the line. He works for the track. He wasn't one of our people. He's part of the track rental fee. Obviously, he's seen a lot of quick cars. So we were standing at the line and watching a few passes, and he came up to me and asked, "Are you guys really going to sell this car? You're not going to? This isn't for anyone to buy, right? No, yeah, we're really going to sell this car." So somebody like that, seeing so many launches, talks about how amazing it is to get this much power and torque to all four wheels, and how that results. And part of that transmission of torque to the ground is through our partners at Michelin. Lee and Jeff and some others here, and the all-season tire that comes standard on the Stingray, widest all-season tire that was ever done. Cody talked about its capability, and you saw in the video this morning. I got more of that, but it just goes to our mission for E-Ray, which was to be this do everything, do anything at any time, all capability, all grand touring, ultimate Corvette. So for those patiently waiting for your E-Ray, that's what it'll be like when you exit stealth mode. It's a pretty cool feature. Neighborhood exit, you've heard us talk a lot about. I know many of us that got lucky enough to drive the E-Ray for a while, our neighbors appreciated that after we spent some time in a Z06. Sorry about that. My garage door backs right up to my neighbor's master bedroom. So I got where I was starting the car with the garage door closed. I don't know if that was any better. Then the garage door is just a big drum, but he definitely appreciated the E-Ray. So this is where I get to rub it in even more and tell you about what we've let other people experience the car think about it. But it's not just us bragging about what the E-Ray can do. It really is a testament to the technology we've put into it, and getting accolades from real automotive journalists, automotive publications that were skeptical, at first skeptical of our ability to even do a mid-engine car and do it well, then even more skeptical of our ability to do a car like an E-Ray, where we've integrated this energy recovery system and enhanced its performance. Car and driver, E-Ray is wired for speed, shocking amount of supercar for the money. Motor one, E-Ray offers a preview of what's possible. So again, strong accolades from people that have had a chance to drive the car. Jalopnik, there's a lot of good comments in here. Honestly, nothing I'd recommend over the E-Ray. It took 70 years for Corvette to get here, and it was worth the wait. USA Today wonders if E-Ray might be the world's best sports car. Wall Street Journal. So Dan Neal is a very critical journalist. He hasn't been nice to Corvette in the past, but had a glowing review of the E-Ray. With 8th generation, the Corvette went from being a midlife cry for help to a legitimate sports car legend. That's pretty high praise from Dan. And the Drive says it's the best performance car for 23, the Corvette E-Ray. Motor Week Driver's Choice Award, best performance car. These go on and on. You know, we cut a bunch out. And here's some of what Cody did.
I'll grab it.
Full-on sideways drift. Who saw Cody's presentation this morning? We were talking that next year Cody is going to do the whole run of show. He's a lot more interesting and exciting to listen to than us, and he's great at not just driving and developing cars like the E-Ray, but presenting his thoughts and experiences with it. I do want to say, as good of a driver Cody is, he's really good. Actually, he got the short straw to help train me in some limit handling maneuvers, and I had to let him out of the car a few times. But the E-Ray, when we were putting journalists in it at our press show to let them experience the car, drifting the E-Ray wasn't natural to them, nor is it natural probably to anyone that's got experience with a rear drive, very powerful sports car. It's not intuitive when you're sliding to put even more throttle into the car. But when you learn to trust it, it is very easy to drift. And when we were out on our proving grounds at Black Lake, they coached me through how to do it, and I jumped in the car and thought, there's nearly a square mile of asphalt here. What could go wrong? So I just put it to the floor and cranked the wheel, and immediately was sliding into a drift. So it's pretty cool what the car can do when you learn to drive it and trust it. In fact, we're a little bit worried after all this work that it can teach some really, really bad driving behaviors. You don't want to come out of an E-Ray and go back into a rear drive car and drive it the same way. It's super capable and fun, though. So this is a reminder of some of the changes we did for 2024. We put the rear view camera mirror as standard. So that's the camera mounted on the top of the car. It helps you see everything behind you. The rear view mirror is a projector, and that's now standard on top of the car. And for anyone that isn't quite used to looking at a mirror that way, and some people have a hard time adjusting their focal length, you can switch it back and forth. We have a cinching hood latch, much like the trunk. I've seen a couple of lukewarm reviews of the cinching hood, like people are not sure how to use it. And I will tell you that everyone will soon adapt to how it's used, but the trick most of us use, and the reason we did it, is because people hate to touch their paint. Last thing you want to do after you've polished your car is put your grubby fingerprints on it when you're closing the hood. And so you can grab the striker on the bottom of the hood with your finger and just give it a little flick, and it'll go and latch into the latch, and then the latch will pull it down. So that was new for 2024. And then we introduced Google Automotive Services as our infotainment. So now we're relying on Google to do all the map database, navigation system network. It comes with Google Assistant. I will say that's a nice feature as far as voice recognition. Everybody in this room, I'm sure, has been frustrated having to provide voice instruction multiple times. And I will tell you that voice recognition doesn't recognize cussing. It doesn't help. But Google Automotive Services, the Google Assistant, is pretty good for that. And then finally, we had a carbon fiber wheel with a red stripe that we introduced on the E-Ray. And Harlan gets, after his charts and figures, gets the exciting part to talk about what's new for 25. Oh, I forgot. What? The safety features. Yeah, they're important. Yeah. You could. Tadge told you we rehearsed this. Yeah. Also new for 24, active safety features. I actually talked to a few people that are very appreciative of these features. Honestly, we were late adopters and a little nervous that customers wouldn't appreciate nannies telling them, coaching them how to drive. In fact, we've made it so they can be shut off for those that don't want that interference, but I've talked to way more people that appreciate it than don't, and most people turn them on and leave them on because they are a great safety feature. We have the ZZ3 convertible engine appearance package. So the see-through panel underneath the tonneau now allows you to see the engine. And if you haven't seen the bright red Z06 out there, has the panel and the engine proudly on display. And then we introduced a new wheel for the Stingray. Nice split 5-spoke wheel. And some new stripes. Again, we have a wide array of stripes and colors. I often talk to people that will show me their list of options and ask me if that's the only Corvette built that way. And of course, I don't have a Rolodex database of how we've built every Corvette, but it's pretty safe to say after a few bold choices, yes, that's the only Corvette that is built that way. Okay, now we're talking about what's new for 25.
Thanks, Josh. So we're usually pretty lucky with the timing of this event, you know, to roll out the next model year stuff. And this year, I mean, it worked out close, but we have actually, everybody seen the cars outside? Those are the first 2025 Corvettes built. They're 3 VIN-1s, the Stingray, the E-Ray, and the Z06. Number one. So, and we got and nobody had seen those before this weekend. So proud to be able to show that. Of course, the new colors. A lot of excitement about the. If you were walking in, they were playing the. If anybody noticed, we were playing the Hysteria song by Def Leppard. Anyway, and we have, so that's a great new purple. We have the competition yellow, which is all new yellow, but we thought it gave some resemblance to the yellow we had in the 90s, plus more like the racing yellow that you see that we've used in racing for many years. And then the Sebring orange is a color we had previously too in 20, but we had a lot of requests for that one, and it's a lot of people's favorite orange, so we brought that one back as well. So we got 3 new colors for this year, and then some new interior stuff. We have the new habanero interior. Might look good with the Sebring orange. And we also going to bring, you know, we have the red stitch, yellow stitch. We're going to add a blue stitch option package for black interiors also. And then another little upgrade we're doing, and this will really apply to the 1LT, 2LT cars, is we're upgrading to the leather steering wheel cover in the center, which is just a nicer material, looks a lot nicer. That'd be a nice upgrade for all the Corvettes. And then if you saw the Stingray outside, it has our new Z51 spoiler. Of course, it's a lot better to see the car outside than these pictures because that's the real one. And I think it's a really nice upgrade for people who get the Z51 package. And then we have some new wheels. So the car we have outside has the STX, the mask and polish, you know, the carbon flash and polished wheels. So I heard some varied reactions on that one, but just so you know, that wheel will be available in 4 different finishes. We'll have a gloss black, we'll have a fully polished, and we'll have a silver paint pearl nickel also. So it really is a wheel. Some people were saying that you have to see 3D versus photos. It really has a lot of depth to it. And so there is more to come. We'll have Tadge is the definition of more to come. So he'll go. I'll let you finish this off.
Thanks, Harlan. Thanks, Josh. Some people might be a little worried that my retirement will send Corvette into a tailspin and it'll be canceled within a year or two. That's not what's going to happen. You can see from Josh and Harlan, they're staying behind, the team that we have behind, the team in Bowling Green, and everybody up in Michigan. And we still have incredible support from General Motors leadership to keep building on this car, keep building it as a global brand. You know, we're selling this car all around the world. You'll see them in Australia now. The right-hand drive is kick sales way up in the UK. And so we're very, very happy with where it's been globally. And so it's in fantastic hands, and you don't have to worry. So Josh, awesome job. Harlan, awesome job. These guys will take care of business. I wanted to make a couple comments on the E-Ray. Josh did a great job going through it. Most of us drove E-Rays all winter. We typically drive the cars no matter what it is. We're driving them all winter. And so we get to experience them in all climates. And it's amazing when we come into work, and having driven our E-Ray in terrible conditions, it's amazing. It's the same Corvette. It feels the same. So you don't have to change your driving style. Corvettes historically have kind of I don't want to say fallen apart, but degraded. The winter driving experience isn't the best. Most people put them away, but the E-Ray is the first car that you actually don't have to change your driving style. You can drive it in wet, cold conditions, and you just drive it like you stole it all the time. And so it's a new kind of Corvette for sure. And when we introduced it, a lot of people had questions. One of the main questions was, what about the battery? Is the battery going to last forever? How am I going to have to replace it like I have to replace a lead-acid 12-volt battery? The answer is no. We've done a lot of testing. In fact, we just finished a 100,000-mile test on an E-Ray. So all around the country, drove an E-Ray, 100,000 miles. A bunch of us drove it, again, as our daily driver. And the car doesn't seem like it's got 100,000. It seems like a new car. And so in terms of battery performance, we're going to take it apart and actually measure the battery. But it seems like new. And you can tell that it's like a new performance by the way it drives. By the stealth mode range, so you can tell it's got a lot of energy still in it. So here we drove it 100,000 miles, and the battery is behaving like new. So that was one of the questions people had. There's an 8-year warranty on it, and it's after 8 years, we're quite convinced you won't even notice a difference. So it's going to be a life of the car battery. We're very happy with that. So those of you who already have an E-Ray on order, wait for it. We're building them as fast as we can in the plant. All Corvettes have a lot of boutique components. It's a low volume and auto industry standards kind of car, and so a lot of our suppliers are kind of, you would think of them as, they're big businesses, but they're mom and pop shops in the auto world. And so a lot of those bespoke components, people take a while to get up the learning curve and up the manufacturing curve to be able to produce at volume. And so we're at the beginning for E-Ray, and something we work on every day, trying to get more. I think we'll be faster to accelerate than the Z06 was, where we're making 300 cars a week now. And so we'll get those cars out to you, and it'll be worth the wait, I promise. Okay, the last thing we wanted to touch on, I said no questions about the ZR1, but we did admit that we're doing one. How many people saw the teaser? We sent a teaser out, so most of you. We'll play the teaser again, and I just want to remind you, it's not a tease that the car is coming this summer. We're revealing the reveal. You know, that's what we do. We try to make the most of this. So we're saying that we're going to reveal it. So we'll disclose information about the car, its capabilities, and so forth this summer. So it'll be a while. So don't cancel your E-Ray order or your Z06 order. You'll want to drive those cars while you're waiting for this one. Okay. Push the button. We are professionals up here. So we're going to do it. And it's going to be awesome. Like I said, the reveal is this summer. We did the Hall of Fame announcement earlier today, and I was so honored that I'm going to get to go in. The icing on the cake. The icing on the cake is the rest of the class. I've known Richard Prince for a long time. He's a fixture at races. He's such a solid guy. He's done just incredible work. His photography makes racing interesting for people who can't be at the races. And he's just a wonderful guy. And then to have Ollie and Jan go in, whose career paralleled my own on Corvette, and I became particularly close to Ollie. He and I did a number of reveals together. He was a runner. We used to run together, so we kind of became friends. And I got to do a lap around the ring in a car that's coming last fall, and it was unbelievable. So you got to wait till the summer to hear the details, but it's going to be epic. We're going to be really happy to bring this car out. What else we got? Oh, are any of you guys coming here for Labor Day? You know what? I'm getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. So I'll be here. I'm coming for sure. Anyway, it's going to be huge.
I'll come if I get invited. It's at invitation only. So if you invite me,
I'll invite you. You can sit at my table. Do you want to talk about it, Harlan? Do you want to talk about what it means to the museum?
Yeah, is Kirk here? Where's Kirk? No?
Kirk Benyon.
Kirk Benyon in the room? No.
No. Okay.
Well, let's show the.
All
Well,
right.
Kirk did all the work on this, so let's show this. Working with they'll be working with Stephanie in the museum. There's going to be a special 30th anniversary museum raffle car that Kirk worked on, and I know all the details about how to enter is yet to come, but this is the first preview of that. And working with the museums, we want to do something special for the 30th anniversary of the museum as well. So you know, now that you're not a GM employee, you could actually enter to win.
Thanks for putting me on the spot. If you'll buy me a ticket.
We'll all chip in and get you a ticket.
So that's our presentation. Sorry, Kirk wasn't here to talk more about the car. This isn't a great picture of it. It'll be a beautiful machine that'll go for auction here. So looking forward to that. So I think we have time for a few questions. Do we, Mariah?
We do.
Okay.
But before we get into the questions, I have been asked to make a special announcement that if you have not purchased a raffle ticket for today's 2024 Build Your Own Corvette Stingray, that you need to make that purchase now. And that can be done either at the admissions counter or the Corvette store. Tickets are $250 each, and we're going to be pulling that raffle ticket in 25 minutes. Actually, Tadge is going to be pulling that
I'm going to
raffle
pull a
ticket.
ticket. So be nice to me with these questions or I won't pull your ticket.
All right, right here.
Thank you, Tadge. Congratulations. The question I have has to do with wheels on the E-Ray. Will they be interchangeable with the two-wheel drive cars?
So you're asking those wide wheels that Kirk's not here to hear it, but we did, I think, a great job on those wheels. They're fantastic design. Yes, they're interchangeable. We don't have a plan to make them interchangeable from the factory. Right? Anything else? Okay.
They will bolt on, if that's your question. Yes.
Well, not on a Stingray.
Not on Stingray. Any of the
The
cars
06 and
that
the
have
E-Ray
wide
have the
wheels.
same size wheels.
Yep.
Tadge, Mark Thomas here. I'd just like to say congratulations on your retirement, first off. And my question is, will the new Z51 spoiler for 25 retrofit on a prior Z51 car? I know I'm going to have customers asking me that.
It will. Of course, if you go through the effort, you can do any retrofit you want to do, depending on how much time you want to spend on it. But yes, if you want to go through that effort, you got to take the fascia off the car and go through that. The holes are enough the same that you can make it work. If you've gone through the effort of taking the fascia off the car, you can put the spoiler on. Yep.
Dovetailing off that question, are they all going to be available in body color, like the one that's shown out here? Obviously, we can get a red high wing now. Will that wing be available in rapid blue, in hypersonic gray?
Yes. Yeah, it comes in
Yes,
all the colors, or you can opt for the carbon flash, just like the current spoiler, same options.
E-Ray question. In stealth mode, does the front lift and convertible top still operate as they do with the engine running?
Yes, it runs just like the engine is running.
Cool.
Even in shuttle mode.
Congratulations, Tadge.
Thank you very much.
A little bit of engineering rather than customization nerdery. In the modern day, where we're seeing more and more come out of lithium shortages and battery life concerns, which group and how did you decide to go with them designed and manufactures the E-Ray battery?
You're asking which group inside General
And
Motors?
Which group, do you use a supplier? Is it manufactured internally? How did you go about the design of that component?
Okay, we buy the pouches from LG, I think. We manufacture all of the E-Ray components, the battery, the motor, in Brownstown, Michigan, so it's less than an hour drive from the GM Tech Center where everything is designed. I tell the story that when we first started conceiving this car, on Corvette, we didn't have a lot of battery expertise. So we actually went to the bolt and volt engineers and we said, this is what we want to do. Here's how big the battery has to be. And they're like, well, how much range do you want? And we're like, range? We don't care about range. We want performance. And so it took a while for their eyes to light up that they could take the same stuff they've been working on, super efficient cars, worried about maximizing range, energy density, and we flipped that equation on its head. We wanted power density. We wanted to get power in and out as fast as possible. So it's a similar engineering challenge, but applying all the physics in a different way. So for them, it was like they weren't working on a Volt or a Bolt to working on a Corvette, a super high performance Corvette. So for them, it's like, oh my God, it's a highlight of my career. I get to work on this stuff. And so they were all in. And we developed this boutique hardware, as I was describing, completely custom to our specifications and completely built internally. This is not like we take a motor off the shelf that's for something else and we jam it into this. No. Every aspect of that motor is designed by us, and it's for us, and it's all built by us. Like everything, even the windings in the motor, if you take apart an electric motor, you can see there's tons of little components in there. Every single one of those components has been optimized for maximum power, maximum efficiency, miniaturization, and low mass. We didn't want to ruin what we had with the mid-engine car and the weight distribution, so everything was about low polar moment of inertia, don't wreck the weight distribution of the car, let's just get that extra horsepower as much as we can use on the front axle, and those guys really rose to the occasion. So if you walk through Brownstown, you'll watch the pouches lining up, you'll watch the machinery actually bending the wires to fit in the electric motor. You'll see the magnesium casing go together with the aluminum fasteners, and it just looks like race hardware. It doesn't look like a Prius hardware. It looks like amazingly high-tech stuff. Anyway, thanks for the question.
And the cells are pouch style, to get back into a little more detail of your question. And while that's relatively old technology, especially for a range battery, it goes back to what Tadge is talking about. They are super good. In fact, still among the best for power flow. And since this car was all about that, that's why we chose that pouch-style form factor battery.
Yeah, and the other thing is getting heat in and out. When you have power flowing in and out, you have to reject the heat, right? There's a bunch of heat. So surface area ratio to volume of the chemicals that are in the cell makes a big difference. So now we're way out in the weeds, but that's one of the reasons that pouch cells is good for this type of application. Okay, back to the customization questions.
Has there been any thought in offering a factory option for PPF prior to delivery for paint protection film?
Yeah, we looked at that in the last generation pretty strongly, to the point where we almost announced that we were doing it and we were going to do it at the factory. But we tried a few trials and it didn't really come out the way as good as we hoped. So It's something we could look at again, I think, but as right now, we don't have that. But that is, to your point, it's getting very, very popular.
It's a very specialized technique to do it, and then the warranty is problematic. You know, if we do it, do we have to cover the warranty? Like, if that gets damaged, are we responsible? So it's kind of better left to the people who are truly experts in the field.
Since we're getting a new yellow and orange, are there any of the present 24 colors going to go away at the end of the year? Any other ones?
Yes, some of the colors will go away.
We could take a vote. We could take a vote on which ones you want to get rid of.
With the PDR, have you looked at possibly integrating a rear camera with a split screen? There's been some talk about that in various forums. So,
Yes, that's a great question, and I'm glad you asked that because we can use that as ammo, because that is something from the beginning we have been talking about. It'd be nice to have more camera inputs and things like that. So,
Yes,
Right,
it
so
helps
now
when
we
people
don't have
ask.
that, but it's
So
something good.
we go back and people are like, "Why would you want this?" Well, customers are asking for it. We've been wanting for a long time to bring your own camera also and have that. You know, if you want to have your passengers' reaction or they're throwing up when you're driving on the track or something, if you want to capture that for posterity, you know, we'd love to have you be able to do more customization around that video operation. Way in the back now.
Okay. I was going through the plant yesterday, and there's a right-hand drive Z06, and that was really cool. But I got to wondering, is that always going outside of North America, or can you, if you wanted to be weird, could you order a right-hand drive North American car?
We said we'd like to hear from customers, but not always. That would be pretty weird. The answer is no. It would be completely illegal in this country, so there'd be no way for us to legally sell a car like that.
Maybe if the post office wanted to speed up their delivery.
And the reason the post office can do it is because the government doesn't have to follow its own rules.
They are a little inconvenient to drive through a drive-through or an ATM. John Andrews, who's around here somewhere, was in one for the better part of a year. They're also kind of awkward to ride in on roads around here, depending on who's driving the car, especially. So yeah, it's cool that we can offer that in other markets. And for the first time in 8th generation Corvettes, customers in those markets that mandate right-hand drive, that's the only way you can operate the car in region, we're paying double what it costs for the car just to have that very expensive upfit. So that's why we're, for the first time in C8, devoting resources to a true right-hand drive.
Yeah, he's talking about Australia. People were paying 2x the price to get it converted. Right here. Front pull down.
I said just a little bit ago, with wherewithal, you can do any retrofit. I'm not sure about that one. You would have more money into just the depreciation, which is almost zero, of selling the car and buying one in 24. Yeah.
You can't just swap the latch, the whole control
It's
system.
not just the latch. Yeah, there's a module and a new, what we call electrical architecture came with 24, and that's when that power front closure module was integrated, so very difficult.
Right
Tadge,
here.
congratulations again, well deserved. Question is, I wonder if you could expand upon the recent service bulletin that was issued on the transmission torquing issues in the 23-24 transmission.
I'll let Josh talk to that one.
I get the good stuff. Yeah, so we issued a service bulletin to make customers with specific vehicle identification numbers aware of a potential low torque condition on some of the fasteners in the transmission. And so we know exactly which cars were affected by that because we check torque traces at the assembly site for the transmission. And a very small number of cars were affected by that. Every time we make an announcement like this, it gets a lot of attention, unfortunately. but it's a small subset of customers. And if you're concerned that your car might be affected, one is you'll get notified. If you want to know before you get notified, you can search by your VIN number, and it'll tell you whether or not you're affected. So I do want to say that's one example where we find something that unfortunately went wrong. We take corrective action and go after appropriately so cars that could have been affected by it. Chances are these cars that had this defect, customers would never know or see any loss of performance. Tadge was talking about 3 years in a row, J.D. Power, best quality, Consumer Reports. I told someone here the other day the Corvette's warranty is the lowest by a long way Corvette has ever been. So you might hear about something bad that happens to a customer, and I want everyone to know that we review every single one of those warranty claims. We meet as we call it current product improvement team 3 times a week and review every single case. And that's why our warranty is as low as it is, but it's not 0. And we want to get it to 0. So we have a team that's working hard every day to get on top of issues like this and prevent them from happening again.
Yeah, the internet has a way of magnifying any single incident. It gets repeated and repeated until, oh my God, it's a pandemic. We take all of them very seriously. We run them down to find out if it's legit, first of all. Sometimes people make claims that aren't even legit. They're covering up something else that they want done. But we chase them all down very, very seriously. We drive these cars. We're in these cars. We buy these cars. Of course we want them to be as perfect as they can be.
And dovetailing off and not putting anybody on the spot by any stretch of the imagination, but as a dealer representative and customer orders a 24 versus a 25, will you be able to give the dealership enough time to notify those customers with regards to color choices? And I'm not asking you about what's going away or when the model year is going to change, but will you give us as the dealer network enough time to notify those customers of those upcoming changes?
Yes, we will.
Perfect.
We'll give you enough time to notice, and when the colors build out and when they come in. A lot of times, I got to be honest, we've been pretty good, even though that happens, with scheduling orders so that most customers aren't affected. You know, when colors get it, we try to prioritize the ones. Yeah, exactly. So we've been pretty good. Every once in a while, you know, it happens, but the last thing we want to do is take away somebody's dream order car. Obviously, we would do everything we can to avoid that.
Thank you all for answering the questions today. I greatly appreciate it, and thank you for being here, and congratulations again, Tadge.
Thank you very much. And I just want to say, you know, having been at the Bash something like 23 years, we used to be in the theater all the time. Now we've been over here, big audiences, so happy to see this many people here. We thought everybody would be coming Labor Day and not coming, so thank you very much for coming here. And thank you so much for listening to us, because it really is true that we take this information back and we can talk to all these people who live in a glass tower, ivory tower, and they think they know what's going on in the market. We know what's going on in the market. It's right here. We talk to you guys. And so it's super valuable for us to have that personal relationship, that personal hearsay. We can cite specific customers, specific needs, and it really helps us sell it back home. So we've been doing it as long as the Bash has been here, and we're going to keep doing it as long as people come. So thank you very much for coming.